Oh, there we go. I've been doing this for so long. Anyway, y'all know the drill. So today is day 30 of the grand old experiment we call life. Well, update, we're not doing bad. Well, I'm not doing bad. I'm not sure about other families. Other families are doing way worse than I am. So at this point, we're just counting our blessings and just happy where we're at. Just want to move you guys down a little bit. Alrighty. Just look grainy. Let me clean off my lens. Excuse me while I do this. Alright. Does that work? I made it worse. Anyway, I'm going to keep my greasy fingers to myself then. That didn't sound right. Anyway, move right along. Okay, so, oh dear Lord, where do I start? Everything is like, Monday was like 5 years ago. You know, eventually we will be over this because every good drama, eventually people get tired to it. Season 1 and 2 are the best seasons. Then season 3, things go down the hill. And by season 4, everyone's ready to wrap things up. So, yeah, we're about over this little comical episode. I don't know where to start, though, because everything is so illegal. And the GOP don't have a backbone. So, I guess I'll start with the most recent and go as far back as I can without making this video too long. I just have so many things I want to talk about. Well, I guess I should talk about what I've been up to. I actually tried to talk to one of these wall supporters. Don't look at me that way. Someone has to reach out. That's the main purpose of this channel. To have other people from other points of view have a safe environment to where they can express that point of view without fear of being ridiculed by anybody. The only set rules are you're not allowed to call names. You're not allowed to say racist slurs. You have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Proceed accordingly. And just be respectful and let's all talk like adults in adult languages. You know, whatever your language of nationality may be. So, the point is that I wanted to get different views because we are so divided that if we don't at least try to come together, then we're gonna fall apart. I don't know if a lot of people remember, but back in the 70s, there was this famous little comedian called George Carlin. So most of you guys I see remember. Some need an explanation. Google him. It's very funny. One of the major things he used to say in his comedy routine was that the rich keeps the middle class and the poor fighting amongst each other so they can run to the bank with all the money. So, who does it benefit? My question is, and it's a real question, who does it benefit to keep conservatives and liberals fighting with each other? Why does that benefit? Who? How? I'm not making a connection of how it can benefit anybody. The only way it could benefit anybody is that if people outside of the country want to see America fail, want to see the great social experiment fail. Because that's all we are. We're a social experiment. Other than Greece, nobody really had a Congress or an area, or not area, but a group of people, and they all have their opinion and they all try to make the best possible legislation to guide the country forward. Greece came close, believe it or not. It wasn't Rome. Rome hated Parliament because they had an emperor. It was a dictatorship. Rome hated philosophy. Greeks loved philosophy because it was expression of an opinion and ideas. I seem to veer off course. I apologize. But getting back to our social experiment, other than people that really hate to see us succeed would want to see us fail. Now, being that acknowledgement has been made, what can we do to come together as a nation? Well, we can start talking to each other. And I don't mean talking to each other like, oh, you leftist liberal, you just want to give everything away, or you stingy conservative, you just hate everybody. No. That is not fighting fair. When you have a discussion, you stay on topic. You're not allowed to bring up your political stance or your ideology. You just stay on topic. And that's what I was trying to do with this person that I was talking to on Twitter. I had made a comment on one of the posts, and they responded in a negative way, and it's been going on back and forth like that about 12 hours. I have very few things to do. Believe me, I got the time. So every time I hear a ding, I just tweet back. Those facts are wrong. Here are the new stats. And what made him mad, I think it's a him. You don't know. I mean, it could have been a her. I don't know. But the person kept giving me their facts, and then I counter with additional information. And when they ran out of information, they started resorting to name calling. It wasn't nothing I could report. It wasn't like, oh, you're un-American, deserve to, horrible things to happen, which I've had. And I have reported them, and their account was, I don't know if it exists anymore. But once someone makes a physical threat towards you, yes, you report them. You don't wait around. You report them. So anyway, he never made a physical threat, but he was reduced to name calling. And I was like, and I let this person know. I thought it was an opportunity for us to exchange views, and I see you resorted to schoolyard name calling and temper tantrums. So I will let you have your temper tantrum and leave you alone. That was about 2 hours ago. I've got no response yet. I don't know. They might respond back. I don't know. But it's just really disheartening that they can't, the person couldn't stay on topic. And the topic was this wall. That is, for something that's supposed to make us so safe, it's dividing us. It's ripping the country in its fabric. But I know that once we get through this, we as a nation will be stronger. Now, oh gosh, where do I want to start? This wall. It's supposed to have been paid by Mexico. Remember the chance 2 years ago? Well, we're going to build a wall, we're going to build that wall. Who's going to pay for it? Mexico. Yeah, who's going to pay for it? Mexico. Yeah, we're not going to have to pay a dime. Well, if Mexico's going to have to pay for it, then we don't need it. All right. So, staying with the topic. If you could stay with the topic, just this stupid wall. I already told you I think I said last week, I'm just breathing it. I'm talking and my face turns blue. The topography of the countryside will not allow for a stupid wall. You cannot build a wall down the center of a river. This river makes hairpin turns. You know how goofy that wall's going to look? All the flooding in certain areas, drought in other areas that used to have a river. You know, never mind all the valleys and gorges and anyway. They can't stay on topic. I've yet to find someone who could stay on topic and talk to me. You know, with all our technology, we can have all sorts of nighttime radars and nighttime, sensors that can track people coming in and out over the border. And again, it's not a physical border. It's not like when you go from Iowa to Illinois, it's like, welcome to Illinois, or from New York to Pennsylvania, welcome to Pennsylvania. You're not going to see welcome to the United States anywhere. Okay? There are parts of the border where you could be there all day. All you're going to see is maybe one border patrol, a stray horse, and maybe a couple of fishermen. Because they have little fishing ponds here and there. But the point is that when in Louisiana, they say there are places in the swamp you can hide a body and it'll never be found. Same thing at the border. There are areas along the border you can hide a body and it will never be found because nobody ever goes there, because there's nothing out there. It's literally a no man's land. Now this stupid little this little stupid offer, this olive branch changing subject that Pumpkinhead supposedly offered us. Okay, listen to this. We give him $5 billion for a wall that cannot be built. And he gives DACA kids 3 years amnesty. No. If I'm going to give you any kind of money for any kind of project you want to do, those kids get permanent citizenship. And you leave them alone. Because if you go to most DACA kids, if you never met a DACA kid, I suggest you find one, if you can, and talk to them. First thing you'll notice, they all speak English. Second thing you'll notice, only 20% of DACA kids can speak Spanish. You know why? Because English was their first language. When they went to school, when they first went to kindergarten, they spoke English in the kindergarten. They grew up with English television. They read English books. Most of them cannot speak Spanish. That's why when Kennedy gave that rebuttal speech, I think it was last year, the one that had all that lip gloss on him, shiny lip dude, when he did his rebut speech in Spanish, I lost my mind. I was like, those kids can't even understand you. They can't. And of the 20% that can speak Spanish, only 5% can speak it fluently enough to be considered bilingual. Because when you move to a different country, the first thing you lose is your language. The second thing you lose is your culture. If you can hang on to the cooking, the food, you got your culture. That's why you could cross borders with food. But anyway, I veer off course. When it comes to language, most DACA kids can't speak Spanish. 2, these are people, not pawns. You don't do that with them. You're not going to have bargaining chips. And whatever happened with the United States don't negotiate with hostage takers. Because essentially that's what the president has done. He has taken the country hostage. There are 800,000 federal workers going to work without pay. Each family on average is 4 members. Some may be more, mine's is less. So if you add them all up, divide them out, the average family is 4 members. So you get 800,000 times 4, you get a little over 3 million people that are directly affected with the shutdown. Never mind all the places they would normally go to buy breakfast or coffee or lunch, stop by the lunch counter. Transportation. Not everyone has their own personal cars. And some metropolitan areas like New York or Chicago, you have public transportation. A well-organized public transportation, I may say. But yeah, you talk about all those people that don't go to work, the contractors especially, that are not going to work, that are not spending the money, people that were going to buy brand new homes and brand new cars, all that's got to be put on hold. Another thing they didn't mention, that they don't mention on the news, is that we get our health care taken out of our paychecks. If you don't have a paycheck coming in, how's your health insurance going to be paid? Now, it may go for a cycle or 2 or 3, but eventually you just get, you start receiving a bill directly, and if you don't pay the insurance bill directly, it gets canceled. So you're looking at over 3 million people in the next couple of weeks possibly losing their health care insurance because someone wants to build a wall that's unattainable. Because someone put a bee in his bonnet that he can have one. You can't have one. It don't work. You ask Berlin, how did that work for you? Go talk to China. They tried that wall business. They got a tourist attraction now. It didn't work. It doesn't work. The argument is, we gotta stop the drugs coming in. Let me tell you how this works. Because if you never lived in a border state, I'm about to tell you how it works. Yes, I did live in Texas. I lived 4 or 5 hours from the Mexican border for, 3 years? Almost 4 years? Alright, let me tell you how it works. There's, at the border, first off from the beginning, at the border there's one dog. One drug sniffing dog. That's all you get, is one. A truck comes through. It may have the scent to trigger this animal. So they pull that vehicle aside. They have the dog check that vehicle inside and out. While that dog is busy with that vehicle, you got big trucks coming by. That dog's over here with this vehicle here. And everyone else is coming through. Now you may get a second person that gets popped. You may even get a third person getting popped because while the dog is busy. But I guarantee you, the buddies are getting through. So when you talk about the drugs entering the country, they're entering through ports of entry on these trucks or vehicles or whatever mobile, because some use cars, SUVs, full 18-wheelers. It's really inventive how stuff gets over the border. And then people are talking, physical people coming over. Okay, let's talk about that. 2,000 migrants coming from Ecuador is going to take over a country of 3 million. Yeah. We all know, I think I talked about this before, again, most people that are here illegally are here because they overstayed their visa, their visitor's visa. In Mexico, for $25, you get what's called a visitor's visa. Again, I know people that come over all the time. You got to come over to America once every 6 months. You got to come over to America, and then they go right back into Mexico. And that's American living in Mexico by choice. Uh, I've got some interesting news for you there too. Anyway, for $25, a Mexican person can get a visitor's visa, come here, and then they overstay their welcome with their visitor's visa. What they need to do is change those laws. Because if you could change the laws, you could fix the issue. More border patrol, completely up with that. Maybe a couple of more dogs a couple of more sniffing dogs at these port of entries. That'll work too. We got drones. So instead of hiring so many people, you just have a couple of drones going back and forth. You got fleets of drones going back and forth. Then you have a person monitoring all the screens like they do in the security cam. And when something goes on, an alarm could be sound and all the, a dispatch to the squads to those areas. They have, I don't know. Now this may be a little bit inhumane, I don't know. But you know that ink that if you steal the Brink truck money bag, there's an ink that spills all over the money, that it makes it impossible, makes the money useless, excuse me. If you could spray, I don't know, a little like incandescent ink on people trying to sneak across the border at night with drugs, we could go ahead and when the Border Patrol finds someone that looks like Papa Smurf, you got someone that shouldn't be here. I don't know. Maybe it could work. Because are there people doing bad things? Yes. But there's a lot more people doing good things, trying to do good things. And do you cut off your face to spite your nose? I don't think that makes sense. No matter human beings are flawed. So no matter what system we make, it's gonna be a flaw. It's just how can we balance, how can we make improvements and constantly make improvements. We need to come together with this because it's a month. We can muddle through February. I don't know what's going to happen in March. Now things are going to get scary. Things are getting really scary really quick. Well, for us it's really scary really quick. For other people, that's already way scary. I was going to tell you something else. Oh, yes, now I remember. People I know that are Americans that are living in Mexico. Well, it turns out that Mexico, I don't know if you heard, but it's not so bad over there. It's not destitute. They have a lot of programs and a lot of ways to help people get jobs and maintain jobs and help them out. If anything, we're having an exodus of people going back to Mexico because it's better there. Now, the people that are coming to the United States, example, Ecuador, well, that's because was it Ecuador? I think it was not Nicaragua. Oh gee, I see it on the map. It's just below Mexico, over to the east. Anyway, the point is that there's a huge gang problem, and once a child reaches a certain age, the girls are expected to sell the bodies for the gang, to prostitute and raise money for the gang. And the boys are expected to sell drugs for the gang once they reach a certain age. If the child refuses, they are then killed. Parents are trying to save the remainder of their children. And I'm sorry, there's no other way for me to say it. I just need to rip this Band-Aid off. They're trying to save their children. Currently, there are a couple of thousand children, it seems, that have been lost in the system, taken from their parents, ripped from their heritage, and may never find their biological family again. Their biological mother and father is okay with this, and I tell you why. At least their child is alive. They have food, they have clothing, they have shelter, they'll be educated, and they'll be raised by a family that loves them. Because they can't give their kids safety anymore. They can't feed their kids anymore. They can't keep their children alive from the gangs anymore. And if you are a mother, and only a parent will know this, you can keep your child, but they may die. Or you can give up your child, and they will live. Every single parent knows what they will do. And that's why those caravan of children are coming up here. Because their parents are pushing them up here so they can live. So next time you want to build a wall, you think about who you're keeping out. I don't want to see you. I don't want to see your suffering. I don't want to see your hurt. But that wall will work in the other direction. It keeps people in too. You won't be able to leave on your free will anymore. We will be giving up freedoms. Walls don't make you safer. They take away your ability to be free. Anyone who's willing to give up your freedom for any amount of safety deserves neither. Anyway, this is a little bit longer than I expected. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. We'll all end up somewhere in the middle. You have a great week. Bye.